Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 48 of My Mom Sandy. We are your hosts. I am Josh Fasten, and the woman next to me is the proud owner of a brand new pre-owned 2017 Honda CR-V. This is My Mom Sandy.
Yeah, we shouldn't advertise that. That might be like that "Come Steal Me" sign, right?
Do you think what was the guy's name?
Lundquist.
Do you think Henrik Lundquist is listening to the podcast?
You mean the guy who stole my car? I hope not.
There was somebody I was just talking to that they wanted to get rid of their car because it's like not worth anything, and they're like, "Is there any way I could just park it in your mom's driveway with a Post-it note on it, and hopefully someone will take it?"
Only if it's like really easy to break into.
Just leave the door cracked.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't figure. I don't know if I told you that guy had a previous car
Slim
theft.
Jim.
No, he had a conviction of a car theft in 2012 in Los Angeles, and now he's got this one in Arizona.
Why are you so far away from your microphone?
Because you didn't jam it up into my mouth this time around? How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Can you hear me now?
Although you still do the thing where you don't. Like, I talk directly into my mic, and you kind of side talk.
Because I'm looking at you.
Or you do this.
I always look at the person I'm talking to.
You gotta stop.
Oh,
that's better, yeah.
Is that better? Now I just be twisted.
Oh my
up.
God, it's like the levels are insane.
Insane.
My favorite is when you do this. You go, I ask you a question, and you go, yeah, no, I mean, I think it's very nice.
Yes.
So quiet. All right, so let's get into it. You own a brand new pre-owned car. This is.
I love that. I love that term. Brand new pre-owned.
This is huge.
I know, and it is huge.
Big deal.
It's a huge deal. It's a lot of money. And
when was the last time that you bought?
1998.
1998.
Yep.
And what'd you buy in 98?
A Honda Accord station wagon.
A 93 Honda.
A 93.
Okay.
It was pre-owned as well.
All right. So, yeah. And it's funny because actually before we started, you were just talking to me about, so I'm moving.
Right.
And I know we've talked about it a little bit on air, but it's official. Next Thursday, I will no longer be a resident of the My Mom Sandy mansion. I'm out on my own.
I know, but don't give
and
out.
Ladies, if you're listening, girls, I'm out on my own now.
Girls.
If you guys want to come over for some popcorn, maybe a little red wine.
He makes really good popcorn.
My popcorn is second to none.
Matter of fact,
I would fuck me for my popcorn.
You're fucking weird. That was
just hit my pop filter.
I know. Must be loose.
So it is kind of loose. What is happening with this? Oh God.
Yeah, well, that's exactly why. So you're spending a lot of money to move out.
Well, it's not. Well,
I mean, you know.
So I'm like, I'm buying some new stuff. I had to get some new stuff, but it was funny because the pre-roll to this that no one will ever hear. You were just lecturing me on, well, maybe you shouldn't be getting all this stuff. You just bought a new car.
I know. Do you think that I didn't go through that whole scenario that I just told you in my mind?
But how much better do you feel now that you bought a car?
I feel good that I have a car
and
that drives.
You took it for a drive.
It drove up to PV.
You took it today to get the accoutrements on it.
That's right.
Added on.
That's right. The accoutrements.
Did they put a My Mom Sandy? Ask me about my pod. Why don't you do that? Ask me about my podcast.
I don't know.
At My Mom Sandy podcast.
I don't think I'd say ask me about my podcast. I'd just say listen to my podcast.
Can we put a little sticker in like the bottom right corner of your back window that says at My Mom Sandy podcast?
Sure. You have it made up. I'll put it on the car.
I might be able to just, when we get done tonight, I might be able to have that made up and shipped tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Yeah. So no, exactly. What you're saying is, yes, I did think about all that. I mean, it's a huge investment, you know, and I'm paying a 60-month car loan. So
a long time.
I know.
A long fucking
I may
time.
not be alive by then.
Whew.
But the good news is it's not a lot of money and I can pay it off.
Yeah.
Whenever.
And I think
whenever I run into a small fortune, which will probably be never.
And I think that, you know, the what this kind of shows is that it's important, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic and even though there's things that we don't know how pieces of this are going to map out for the long term, you know, and we've always kind of talked about this a little bit on the podcast, is you can't really stop living life. You have to continue living life, and you have to make the decisions and the choices and the things that are going to make you happy.
Yes.
Because if not, then you might as well just go downstairs, turn the TV on really loud.
Go to the magic drawer.
Go to the magic drawer and blow your brains out, you know? With as we call it here, the magic wand.
The magic wand. Yeah. Well, again, even if we hadn't had a pandemic, it would have still been, it's still a huge decision for me to make. And, you know, and I did consider all of that, you know, like, I don't fucking know. I mean, I may never work again. And we talked about this, you know, because of my age and because of my business and because of the pandemic, you know, who knows? I mean, I may not have a job offer for another 1.5 or 2 years, in which case I may be using my father's old walker.
Well, and I think that's an important thing, is like, who really knows when, you know, I saw some of my friends who were involved in the music industry, you know, and they're really hurting right now because, you know, music venues, management, all this stuff is saying, you know, we're not starting this back up until sometime in 2021, maybe next summer, you know, so the people that worked on the festival circuit, the people that worked on, you know, tour management, road, you know, gigs, touring, you know, not groups, not like the bands, but like the, you know, the helpers, the team,
the roadies,
well, yeah, all that, the production, you know,
yeah.
You know, and then you got to think about, you know, the fucking vendors and the people at like places like Staples Center, the Forum.
Oh, I know. I mean, this is like, you know, that's the problem, is that it doesn't just affect one group of people. There's a trickle down effect, you know, and it's like the same thing with, you know, with my business, you know, and I've done this before. I went through this in 2008 when we had the big financial meltdown. I lost a lot of clients. I was doing really well. Business was only about 3 years old. And, yeah, what a dilemma you've got there, Josh.
Continue.
Yeah, you could get up and walk away. I don't care.
I know.
I can hold on the mic for just a couple seconds.
Good. Keep talking.
Anyway, I never really recovered well after that. I lost a lot of clients that, you know, in different, you know, some people that were living off of stock market investments. Well, obviously, you know, that went to hell in a handbag. Schools, I mean, corporate offices that didn't feel like, you know, like, oh, we've had to lay off people, so how can we have a cappuccino bar come in? So I know what this is all about, but it doesn't just affect me. You know, all the product that I buy, it affects the sale of those products, the manufacture of those products.
Yeah, it's the whole tree.
It's the whole chain,
you know?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you had brought up something a couple weeks ago, I think, where you had talked about, or at least, I don't know if we talked about it on air, but we talked about it, where you were like, you know, is it really smart to be moving out on your own right now, having to deal with not knowing what the future is,
it's
right?
Very uncertain.
And I think for me, it is, you know,
I was just selfish. I just don't want you to go. I don't know what I'll do with my life.
It very much is that thing where I think that, you know, it's, everybody's navigating this, like exactly what you just said, right? This has affected every single person in some way, one way or another.
Yes.
And, yeah, and that's, you know, that is what it is, you know.
The good news is that there are some pluses, like, here's a for instance, I just cleared out 3 years of taxes for my mom.
Boom, look at that, huh?
And our CPA's in Pasadena. Pasadena. And so
Guava and mango?
Guava and mango.
What's
Pasadena.
It's actually
Pasadena. Anyway, the good news is that normally I have to drive in there with all my stuff and sit down and talk to him in his office. But today it was a friggin' phone call. I love it.
Great.
So I can conduct business from the comfort of my home, which reminds me, you know, that's one thing that that's kind of stuck in my mind. I heard this gal on TV last week talking about, she lives in New York, and she said the one thing about the pandemic is that people who, she says, you know, we put up with a lot of stuff to live in New York because our jobs are there, and, you know, we like it, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. But now there's a lot of violence, and there's crimes way up, and homelessness is way up, and it's just kind of, she's described it kind of as a cesspool. I don't know if New York City is, you know, I don't know if that's true, but she said that a lot of people who live in the city have moved out.
I've heard that as well. Our friends that live in Brooklyn have said that. They said that they feel like what they've seen is that a lot of people have gotten up, packed up, and left.
But those are only the people that can afford to do it. But I guess what this gal was saying is what the pandemic showed us is that we don't have to live in New York City to have a job in New York City.
But I don't even think that's just New York. I think what the pandemic has shown us is that you don't even necessarily need to go into work
at office
at all.
Yeah.
That in talking with some of my clients over messages and stuff, a lot of them have kind of made that point. They're like, look, we're not going back to the office potentially until next summer, maybe later, right? Wow. And what they keep saying is, I'm spending more time with my family, which then is making me happier, which then is making, I'm not having to get on planes 3 times a week. The work output that I'm doing, I'm actually getting more work done because I'm in a better mood,
Yeah.
I'm being more productive. There's been things that have been rough with,
I would think it would be tough to work like an office job at home when you have kids running around. I mean, there'd have to be some really tight boundaries.
Well, you have kids now that are in virtual school, so they're doing virtual school from, 8 a.m.
But what are they sitting in front of a computer and watching lessons? Who's watching them?
They're in the classroom.
Okay, but who's watching them to make sure they're doing
Well, I think
that?
if it's like a Zoom call, or like a FaceTime thing, you've got...
And they can see everybody?
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone has to kind of be there.
Can you do a Zoom call with like 20 kids?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, sure can.
Wow.
Crazy times.
I know. I love that one commercial where it says, the new inside is curbside.
The new inside
is curbside.
All right. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I don't know when we're going to be eating. It's funny because I picked up food from somewhere yesterday and I was with my friend Peter and we ate outside. They had like a little outside dining area. But it's funny because you're inside and you're like, there's no one in here. Like, and you could easily put people at, like, if a place has 10 tables, you could sit people at 3 different tables and still have it be incredibly spaced out.
Yeah. I heard, by the way, that Eric Garcetti was thinking of keeping that no eating indoors till the end of the year. Or it's either Eric Garcetti or Newsom, Governor Newsom.
Oh, I mean, I would imagine...
Till at least till the end of the year.
Yeah.
No eating. I mean, so what do we do in the rainy season with restaurants? I mean, it's so friggin' crazy.
I mean, look, there's a lot of restaurants that you've seen that have gone out of business. There's a lot that are going to continue to go out of business because they're not going to be able to provide. They're not doing the business that's needed to provide the hours and the stuff for their staff. Not only that, but I mean, look, every single fucking restaurant that you drive by, most of them they've had to like build some sort of like outdoor fort now.
I know. And
how much does that shit cost?
And on top of that, I mean, in my mind, it's like, okay, so you're outdoors, you're not spreading the COVID germ, but I mean, you're in a fucking parking lot. You're eating on concrete where dogs have pissed and
look, that's like the
people have pissed. And
that's the whole
if you live
argument.
in San Francisco, they've shit on it. So
that's the whole argument with hair salons, with Newsom coming out and saying, well, look, these hair salons can go back to work. They just have to work outside. And it's like, look, this goes against every fucking health code and violation that we've learned on how to keep us and the clients safe.
Yeah.
You put us outside. It's fucking 90 degrees. It's hot. You're fucking sweating. Now you're dealing with like sweat from the client, your own sweat.
Could it be passed? Could COVID be passed by sweat?
I mean, it seems like
sweat in somebody's eyes.
COVID can be passed by every fucking thing else. What I just read about urinals, that if you flush a urinal and there's COVID pee-pee,
they've said that
the pee-pee particles go up and then you snort them and then you have COVID.
Okay, is it in the pee-pee or is it in the poo-poo?
It's probably in both.
Because I heard it was the poop. I thought it was the
because I'd heard urinals specifically, and you can't poop in a urinal. I mean, I guess you can
us
poop
women
anywhere
don't
you want.
have urinals, so
You guys are safe.
Yeah, except we have toilets that we pee in, but they don't. None of them have fucking lids on them.
Well, right, that's the same with a urinal. There's no.
I know.
It's a wall mounted.
I know what a urinal is. I have seen them. I just haven't used.
You know, when I was in like, I don't know, 2nd grade or 3rd grade, I was so like scared. I would have like the worst stage fright of like peeing in a urinal because there's like people on both sides of you. And then I remember even like going to like Dodger games or something.
Why is that acceptable?
It's fucking so weird.
That men could like whip it out and just pee in front of each other. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, just because you can do it.
I mean, look, I remember Dad taking me to Dodger games when I was like young, and it wasn't even fucking urinals. It was a trough. It was a pee-pee trough. And I just remember I was like, this is so fucking wrong.
And did they have horses that come in and drink out of it when you're dead?
When I was that little, all the dicks are like eye level for me. So I'm sitting there as like, if I'm fucking whatever, 8.
Yeah, I don't understand how that even ever got created.
6. I'm just looking next to me and I'm just seeing fucking elephant trunks.
I mean, if I was a guy, I would not want to whip it out in front of a bunch of other guys and pee.
It's just a lot of pressure.
I know, exactly.
A lot of fucking pressure.
I mean, I want a door. I want some privacy, for God's sakes. It's a personal thing. It's not something I share with people.
I remember being in like 3rd grade and using, maybe 2nd grade, and using the stall to go pee. I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I remember like closing the door and I think I also used to pull everything down.
I don't know. You're asking me.
I would pull my jeans, and my just like Dad tighty whities, and I'd pull those all down at least to my knees, so I'm just bare butt, just peeing. And I remember like an upperclassman came in and like the minute I closed the door and had my drawers and everything down and it was just bare butt cheeks, he was like, "You don't go pee in here, you go pee over there." And he like pointed to the urinals and I was just like, "Well, this is clearly inappropriate. I just need to go. I'm just going, I
just want to pee in privacy, please."
So I remember like kind of like hobbling my drawers back up and like hobbling out to the urinal and then like seeing that not everyone is like drawers down to their knees. It's just kind of, you just pull your member out, know?
It's kind of like showering and PE, it's the same kind of thing.
No, not a fucking chance.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know. Who showers in PE?
I didn't even, in high school, I didn't even do, when we had,
you didn't even swim.
Yeah, we had like, come in your board shorts. And I was like, not a fucking chance.
Well, didn't you take swimming like first thing in the morning? I
had PE in the morning and swimming was a part of that.
Yeah. So you could go in with your bathing suit on. And then I don't know what the hell you did when it was.
I didn't even do it. I never wore my bathing. I never went swimming.
You never went swimming.
Never fucking went swimming in high school. Cause my friends were like, we're not fucking going swimming. And I was just like, well, I'm not going swimming. And like, and you're like, it's such a weird age too. Like the girls are starting to have boobs, right? So then like as a fucking junior, you're what, 16, 17 maybe? You're like kind of like perving out on these girls because you're just like, oh, look, so-and-so's got boobs.
Starting to have boobs. They have boobs.
And then me, I'm like a stick and I'm like pale. I'm like see-through. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm going to get in the pool. And I was never really
was it co-ed PE?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it wasn't even just boys only?
No.
Oh, that sucks. So what kind of bathing suits did the girls wear? They all wear their bikinis
I remember... I mean, it wasn't like how it is now, but I remember not a lot of people did the swimming. Like, I remember there was a lot of us in the stands.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people in the pool. And even then, like,
how did you pass PE without doing the swimming?
I think I just took zeros for those days and I made it up in how fit I was in all the other activities.
In your badminton.
I did. I took badminton.
I know
it was great.
You did.
It was a blast.
I know. But you got an award for it.
And I don't even know if everyone it was like, oh, get in the pool and, oh, everyone get in the pool and like, oh, here's the ball to like pass to each other and here's the giant donut that you get to sit in.
What did they do?
I think it was like swim laps. And I was like, this is miserable.
Well, that makes sense. Swim laps. I mean,
then you get out and they're like, all right, guys, go to your locker room and all shower with each other. Nope, I'm good.
I don't remember swimming in high school. I don't even know if we had a
few years difference between us, huh?
Yeah, just a few. I don't know if we had a pool. I mean, there was a water polo team.
Yeah, we had that. That's what they used the pool for. And swim meets.
And there must have been a swim. I don't know. I was doing drugs in high school.
Yeah, I was not. I remember it all. And I was like, I'm not getting in that pool. Not a chance.
Yeah, well.
Not a fucking chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either. So, anyway, back to whatever we were talking about. Where were we?
I saw a interesting statistic. Yeah. And I wanted to double check it. I looked it up on my phone before we started. I wanted to see if it was actually true. Do you have any idea how many people died from tuberculosis. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm not coming in hot as like an anti-masker, right? I'm not coming in as like a conspiracy theorist about the COVID. I'm just presenting a fact. And you can look this up on the Google. Do you have any idea how many people died in 2019 from tuberculosis?
No. You mean worldwide?
I think. Maybe U.S. I don't know. Could be worldwide. I didn't look that. I said deaths.
It's not a prevalent disease in the United States, is it?
I don't know.
Are you sure we're talking about tuberculosis?
TB for short?
Yeah. Oh, that's my phone.
I know. My phone's downstairs. It's charging.
Oh.
All right. So do you have any idea what the number is?
No, I don't.
Take a guess.
I have no idea.
Just take a
as
guess.
many as we've lost from COVID, I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot of shit that, people die from that. I mean, come on. I think that the COVID thing was way overblown. The lockdown. And I will say this, that that there are people out there that are still pushing for more lockdowns.
All right, so this is from, I guess, the World Health Organization.
Oh, well, I trust them.
10 million people fell ill from TB. 1.5 million died in 2019.
That's worldwide.
Yes.
Yeah. And how many people have died from COVID worldwide?
Hold on. Give me a second. I'll tell you right now.
He types fast, folks.
I do. Thumbs. I'm all thumbs.
He's all thumbs. I know. I don't know how you can do that. I'm all pointer finger. Pointy finger.
How do I get COVID deaths? What am I doing? Worldwide?
Worldwide, yes.
Worldwide.
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 So remember that, 1.5 mil on the TB. How many did they say were infected by it? 10 million?
Deaths. 814,000.
Worldwide?
Mm-hmm.
That's it?
But we've had, in all fairness, we've had 23.7 million cases of COVID. I mean, so it's...
That's hardly, that's not even a million.
You sound like such like a... Oh, we didn't even hit a million. What? God, we got to have some more deaths here. What is going on?
What the hell?
Jesus.
Maybe during the month of Ramadan.
Ramadan.
We'll get some more cases. No, that's like, I know. That's
I'm not saying it. I'm not presenting it as any, I think it's an interesting fact that
there are a lot of diseases out there. I'm sure if we look back at, some of the really bad flu seasons, we're going to see the same type of statistics, whereby it makes you wonder, why have we shut everything down?
Look, I got to imagine that it's
just to still go through all this.
Well, no, I got to imagine it's the idea that this is unknown, right? That they don't know what the fuck this is. They don't know. In the beginning, right? How fucked up was it in the beginning where it's like, don't wear masks, we're fine. Wear masks. Spray your groceries. No, don't spray your groceries. Oh, asymptomatic people can't transmit it. Just kidding. They can. They really can. We're just kidding. But they can't. But it's not, we don't think it's worth.
We still don't know. I read that there was somebody
protests. People aren't getting it from protests. Family gatherings.
Family gatherings. That's
actually, we think
protests.
They might be getting it from the protests.
Yeah, maybe, but but not the rioting and the looting, just the protests. Yeah, I read an article the other day that said, I don't know if it's the first case of reinfection. It's like, oh fuck, here we go again. Now what?
Well, look.
If we can all get it and then get it again and again and again and again, it's like we're fucking doomed.
Well, look, to go back down to the thing you were talking about towards the end of the year, I think that these coming months are going to be the most. It's going to be a tipping point one way or the other, right? Right now.
How will we know if it's COVID or flu?
Well, right. So, but what I'm saying is, like, right now numbers are coming down. Like, you're seeing counties being taken off the watch list. You are seeing numbers coming down.
Oh, they started an Orange school in Orange County.
Right. So, and we're doing that. By the way, this podcast is a day late. It'll come up on.
Yeah, sorry.
What is today? Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah. So it'll come up Tuesday night. You guys will have it by Wednesday morning. Listen, love it, leave it,
do whatever,
lose it.
Really?
But as of today, and it's August 26th. numbers are going down, cases are going down, hospitalizations are going down, hospital beds are coming up, ventilators are coming up, ICUs are coming up.
What do you mean coming up?
Like there's more available.
Oh.
I'm coming up.
I know, you're making it sound like coming up like it's like the hospital beds are, more are being used.
They're raising from the dead. The hospital beds are coming alive.
It's kind of like poltergeist,
But I think that these next
Exorcist.
few months are going to be very pivotal. I think that what you're going to see is if cases continue to come down and we get a mild flu, then I think that by the holidays, we're going to see somewhat of a normal holiday season. I mean, I take that back. It's not going to be normal. It's not going to be normal, but it's going to be, we're going to be in a far more relaxed environment than we are now. However, if we start opening things, numbers start skyrocketing again, people are getting careless, I think that you're very well, and we get a strong strain of the flu. Isn't it fucked up that we know each year the months that the flu is going to come, but we're just like, oh, we can't stop it.
Well,
isn't it weird?
And even worse than that, they predict the strains of the flu that are going to be prevalent for that particular flu season, and oftentimes they're just totally wrong. So, our medical experts aren't necessarily experts, are they?
It's so weird. Very strange.
We can't stop it. That's right. I know.
But well,
maybe if we all wore masks all the time,
I think we're going to be in masks for well into next year.
I hate them.
Yeah, I don't like them either.
I mean, in negotiating my car, I spent several hours at Scott Robinson Honda, and the mask thing was like annoying as all get out.
Yeah, I just saw two of my friends who I've seen. One who I've seen very regularly, and the other who I've seen kind of off and on. And the one that I've seen off and on is very careful. Him and his wife, very strict about masks in group settings or whatever. But it's funny because we were outside, we had an adult beverage, we were eating some chips. But it's so funny to I mean, there was a moment where it's like, you slide your mask under your chin, you eat a chip, you put the mask back up, you put the mask back down, you have a sip of your drink, you put the mask back up, and then then you kind of forget and you take the mask off and you're talking and you're eating your chip and you're taking your sip, and then you're taking your sip and you're eating your chip.
You're taking your sip and eating your chip.
Perfect, you've heard the song. And then you're like talking and you just kind of like forget. And then, one person he'll put his mask back on, and then you're like, oh, I should probably put my, and then you put your mask back on. What I've learned too is the bottom half of my face gets very sweaty. I run hot anyways, but when the mask, it gets very, very sweaty.
Does that be the cloth and the paper ones, or just
I've been just doing the paper ones, but it happens with both.
Where do you get the paper ones?
I have a place.
You have a connection?
I've got a connection. It's like 50 for
Where's my 409 connection?
I don't know. I don't know if she...
Come on, Bonnie.
Maybe she didn't. Maybe that was all...
Maybe she was...
She just wanted to get on the show.
Yeah, she just wanted a shout out. All right, Bonnie, you got your shout out.
All right, good.
We want our 409 now.
Good trick. I've got 409.
No, it's okay. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. I mean, we certainly would love it, but...
So look, I think it's going to be very interesting going into these next few months. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the year plays out. I know. I don't know. I mean, just life's just fucked up. It's just not fun doing this. It's not fun just having all the restrictions, Like I have to fucking pack when I leave the house. I got to make sure I have gloves and, and the mask and just wearing that stupid mask, all the time. And I find it's hard to understand people when they're talking through them, and you certainly never know if somebody's smiling or if they're sticking their tongue out at you for There's a lot of excuse me? What was that?
You don't know.
One more time?
I said you don't know if they're smiling at you or sticking their tongue out.
What I'm saying is that there's a lot of excuse me?
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Yeah.
Well, I can't
could you pull the mask out of your mouth, please? All
right, so we are essentially kind of halfway into this. We're hitting the 30-minute mark. I was going to say I've got two topics, but you had to pick one because we don't have time to talk about it. Do you have things written down? Do you have notes? Seems like you have a lot of notes.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm going to give you...
But
okay.
it's all kind of what we talked about the other night when we ragged on the state of California.
All right, so here's the options, okay? We can go behind whatever's behind door number 1, which is your notes. Yeah. I can't see them from here.
Okay.
We can talk about the heat wave. It's been very fucking hot.
Oh, so that's interesting. So what are we going to say? Oh, it's been hot.
By the way,
it's been hot.
For anyone who doesn't live in California, it's been hot.
But it's probably been hot everywhere, but go ahead.
Or we can talk about the what's going on with the unemployment and the federal money.
Sure.
And you're back to the thing where you don't talk into your mic.
Sure. No. I wasn't. I was looking at you again. God. Slap my face.
That wasn't even a sound effect.
Ow, that hurt.
Yeah, that was good.
I gotta give myself a bruise.
That was impressive.
I can call the police tomorrow and say, my son slapped me.
That's good.
Elder abuse.
I don't want him to move out. I'm going to have him arrested.
That's right. I'm going to put him on house arrest.
So, your pick. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I'd like to talk about the federal money because I think that we should probably vote everybody in Congress out. Out.
So here's an interesting thing about the federal money, and hear me out, because I think that they've completely fucked up this whole situation. I think that they've completely fucked up the idea of, hey everyone, don't worry about it. We've got your back. We're going to take care of this. Everybody's fucking panicked. You want some ice?
No.
You really did it.
Well, I wanted to make it sound. I should have just done
clap
that.
your hands.
Really, that even sounds worse, huh? Ooh,
oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that was a hand clap.
Ow!
Yeah.
Ow! Okay. Stop hitting me, Josh. Right. Cut it out.
I'm not hitting her. Not doing that.
He is.
Ouch. Okay. Ooh, see, people are going to hate me. And I think that we've gotten to this point where it's almost like the government's just like, we just don't really care. We don't really care that much. B, I was talking to someone and they said, is it possible that the government is holding off to see if people will go back to work? Before they come back and say, here, look, here's an extra 300, 400, whatever it is a week on your unemployment. Are they kind of trying, what is it like when you starve someone out, right? And then you see if you're like, oh, fuck, you got to go back to work,
Well, that's an interesting concept. I don't know that that's true, but I will say this. Doesn't seem to be any urgency to our members of Congress, both in the House or the Senate, because they fucking get paid no matter what.
Right. 100%. And I think that was something me and you talked about the other night, not on the air, but was that they don't, the rich politicians have never had to worry about what healthcare is going to look like.
Really,
what's their salary going to look like? Are they, or can they afford rent this month?
Will they ever be laid off or furloughed?
Right.
No.
Never had to worry about that, which I think is fucked. And I think that it's a situation where, and even if
and they get excellent retirement benefits.
I was going to say, once they're done,
they leave rich.
Right.
I mean, they go in with nothing and they leave Congress or the Senate, wealthy people. Go figure. How does that happen?
I think that you're right.
Insider
I think that if it had something to do with them, if they had to be like, well, fuck, we didn't get paid for this month, or they were like, hey, look, we're not going to take our payment until we figure this out. Great. But it's like, you're right. Like, they're on fucking vacation. They went on vacation.
Yeah, they're on vacation.
You have millions of Americans out of work.
So what the executive order that Trump signed, is there any action on that, or can there be? Because I know.
So I don't know what any of that. I know the executive order he signed, which was basically, for California, it was supposed to be an extra $300 plus another $100 from the state. And then Newsom come out and said, we don't have the extra $100 for everybody. That's going to cost us some fucking ridiculous amount of money.
No, that's because we're gonna. I'm not gonna say.
Okay, but I would have gladly taken the extra 300. Salons are still closed. I can't work, so. I'm trying to get to a point where I'm like, all right, look, you still have millions of Americans out of work. You still have millions of Americans that are not going to be able to pay their bills.
You guys go on vacation.
So
go ahead. Go on.
What is the game plan here? Because it seems like they just don't fucking care. And look, maybe it is that thing. Maybe there is this giant thing where they're like, look, let's fucking see if Americans go back to work. Let's see how many of them that,
I think that, unfortunately, I think that politics is rearing its ugly head here. And the reason I say that is I think that the Republicans probably would rather see the economy open up. They would probably rather see people go back to work. And in general, the Republicans do not believe in big government. They do not want people living off the government. That's not, they want people to go out and, fend for themselves, earn their livings, work, that's their principles. The Democrats, on the other hand, like it when you're on public assistance because it grows the government. The government then gets bigger. They have more control over you, But on top of that, I think that when the Democrats in the House make a proposal, which was like $600 an extra $600 a week, and this and that, and this is going to last for this long, and now we want to also add in our funding for this and our funding for that and our funding for this, and I think they ask for way more than they know they're going to get, with the idea that if the Republicans say, we're not buying it, we're not doing it, then they can say, okay, you guys didn't get your unemployment because the Republicans wouldn't agree. So, I think that politics is playing a huge role in all of this. On top of that, the worst part is that it's an election year. So every party wants to win points and favors.
Yeah. I mean, look, we talked about this on a past episode where it was like, the whole pandemic became political. The whole fucking thing became political. And it's like, look, what happened to, let's get everyone healthy. Let's look out for everyone. Let's make sure everyone has a roof over their head and food on their table. And let's get everyone better so that we can get back to some sort of, I don't think we're going to ever go back to the normal that we had, but let's get everything back to some sort of normal, to where people are able to go out to eat, people are able to go on dates, people are able to see sporting events and concerts.
Go on vacation. Go back to the casino.
Let's get back to that. But instead it was just like, well, look, the Republicans say this, the Democrats say that, we don't like this, we don't like that, this isn't going to work, this is going to be this, and it's just like, what a fucking mess. It's a mess. It's a fucking mess. And you're right. At the bottom line it comes down to is that these politicians have never, whether they're Republican or Democrat, they've never had to fucking sit there and go, where's my next meal going to come from? How am I going to pay rent this month?
Yeah, there was a...
How am I going to put gas in my car?
There was a senator. I think he was a senator. I don't know who he is, but I'm sure we could Google it and find out. But he was in the Senate for years and years and years. And when he got out, he opened up a business. And his business went belly up after 2 or 3 years. And what he said was, I wish that I had opened my business before I worked in the Senate, because I would not have passed the bills that I passed, because he had no experience in business before that. And I think that that's really an important thing. When you're talking about a career in politics, you don't have to worry about money. You don't even have to know how it works. You get your paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, look,
and that's it.
I saw this great,
You're good.
This great thing the other day. It was like this statistic that said, the average, the president, I think Trump is 74, I don't know, 72, 73, 70, whatever. Biden, who's running against him, is 77.
Is he that old?
I think he's 77. It said all the the average age of people that hold a seat in the Congress or whatever,
yeah.
I think it's like 65 or 67. Ugh. And then it talks about, the age of the average American is 37. Yeah. And it's like, look, this is the disconnect. This is the problem, is that is someone who's 37, who's an average American, or whatever.
Well, it's not just the age though, Josh.
But you're in a different place at 37 than you are at 77.
Yes, you are, but you're also...
And if you're 77 and you've been in politics...
But at 37, I know, but at 37, you're not being taken care of. At 77, if you've been in politics all your fucking life, then you really haven't had to work for a living.
But that's what I'm saying, is that there's a huge difference between someone who's 77 who's been in politics for the last 40 years and someone who's 37 who's on there like, who's had a career for... whatever, 15 years, went to college, went to business school, went to grad school, whatever it is, comes out, gets a job, starts their career, and now they're fucking, somewhere in their 30s or maybe even early 40s, and they're trying to figure out, how do I make a buck? And that's a huge
Go into politics.
huge fucking
There you
disconnect.
go.
I wish I could go back. I would have been a great speaker.
You can go back to what? You can listen. You're 37. You got to
I'm
your
actually
60s.
I'm 38 actually.
You're 38. That's right. You
Hey, thanks.
you have to your 66 to get into Congress.
Don't I gotta go to college? Don't I gotta finish
No,
college?
I don't think so.
All right, let's do it.
You just I don't know. I don't.
What do I
think-
gotta? How do I start this?
You gotta have a campaign. You gotta.
You want to be my campaign manager?
I will.
Didn't we talk about this in a past episode? I was going to run for governor of California.
I think you need to start smaller than that.
Okay.
Probably like an assembly member.
Like a rec leader
or-
at a park?
Yeah, a rec leader at a park. Is that an elected official?
I don't know.
Or is that appointed?
Start somewhere.
So
Maybe like head of the library.
there you go. If they ever open up again,
Just like, so I'm here. I'm head.
I'm head
Head of the library.
of the library.
Excuse me. Did you just grab 2 books? You're going to want to put one of those back. You're going to need to put one of those back.
Do you don't have your library card today?
Everyone gets a book. Everyone go pick a book out. You get a book and you get a book and everyone gets a book.
Everybody gets a book. Yeah, but the interesting part is that the House could come back into session to take care of the, and I'm going to put this in quotes, postal crisis. Because all of a sudden, the post office is in crisis. I don't know if you know anything about the post office, but they've been in the red for like years.
I think that it is very fishy when our president says that he's
Picking up the mailboxes off the street.
cutting funding to the post office to
But I think that happened. That's already happened. I don't think that's something that's new. I think that that's already happened.
I think that there's a postal problem.
On top of
I think
that,
we need to fix. Look, I'm for a let's fix everything.
You're not going to fix the postal problem. The postal problem has been in effect for fucking years. I can tell you of incidences where I have lost mail. Mail has never gotten to where it was supposed to go. I've had to stop payment on checks. I don't trust the postal service to deliver anything, much less a voter ballot, for God's sakes. Oh, we'll just take this big pile of ballots right here. Like, we know what they are. That, you know, the mailbox that's across the street now, when you said, oh, you can't use it?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how it has a little slit in
Oh,
it?
yeah, you just have to stick it in.
Yeah, and you know why you know why they replaced it? They took the old one, which I guess they're not supposed to take anything off the street that's a mailbox. They put the new one in. Do you know why they put the new one in? Because people were stealing mail out of the old ones.
Oh, makes sense.
You could put a string in there with
some
like
gum on
sticky
the-
tape or something. And yes, listen, I've had mail stolen from, I've taken it to the post office, put it inside the post office, and it's been stolen, and the check's been taken, and the check's been whitewashed.
Yeah.
So
Things get you know.
the problem is that this is why the post office is in the red, because they're not, and they never have been dependable. They're not dependable. And that's why people choose now to use FedEx and UPS and all the other methods of shipping instead of the U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah.
Because they're much more reliable, for God's sakes. I don't mail anything of importance unless I send it certified with a tracking number or return receipt requested. I mean, I can't, I got to go mail my mom's 3 years of income taxes. I can't just dump it in the mailbox and expect it to get there. I got to protect myself,
Fingers crossed.
I know exactly. Fuck. I send in a life insurance premium every quarterly, which, by the way, you and your sister will have to split the money when I die. But at any rate, I send it. The only way I can pay it is to send a check. I can't do it online. I can't do it over the phone. So the only way I can do it is by check through the U.S. mail. And I swear to God, every time I send it, I have to keep checking my bank account to make sure that it's been received. Cause you only get 30-day grace period and then they cancel your policy. So, and there was a time, I think, when it didn't get there. It got lost. So,
Maybe you addressed the envelope wrong.
It was a pre-printed envelope.
Maybe it had the wrong,
Maybe they did
wrong
it wrong.
info on it.
That's right.
All right. Well, look, for me, I'm just sitting here being like, look, let's just fix all the problems.
And on top of that, here's the deal. And we talked about our things that came in the mail, right? From LA County. Like, if you don't live at this house, fill this out and send it back to us. And if you do live at this house, you don't have to take any action whatsoever. So, that's ridiculous. I hope
Look,
that
maybe that's for people who are getting their mail forwarded, who just moved, and then it's this thing, and then it's like, oh, here this got forwarded to you if you don't live at this address, and they fill out the new address. In the case of...
You can't do that. You can't fill it out for somebody.
No, what I'm saying is that if you were to move, right, like I'm moving,
yes,
right, and if I had my mail being forwarded to my new address,
right,
I would have one that said it came here, but then it would have the forwarded from the post office.
No,
and then
I don't.
It would say,
no, I don't.
If you don't live at this address, and then I would fill in my new address.
But only if you got it. If you didn't live at this address, technically, you wouldn't get the mail to fill it in.
Unless it got forwarded to my new address.
I don't think they forward those things.
All right, well.
And if they do forward it, why would they forward it to your new address when it asks you if you live at this address?
I mean, look, I get tons of stuff in the mail all the time that says report an address change on the back. And it's like, well, you sent it to me here. What are you going to report an address change?
Well, no, they don't forward mail, or they, well, they do forward mail, but apparently what happens, and I only know this because, we did a change of address when we moved my mom out, but, like, you don't have to notify the companies anymore. Like, the post office notifies them. So it's like, tired, are you?
A little sleepy. I haven't been sleeping very well because it's been hotter than balls. Last night I slept horizontal at the bottom of the bed with the fan pointed up in my face.
Why didn't you put it on? I told you.
Like a brick, a stick brick.
No, you get two of your stools and you.
Stools are gone, by the way.
You took them all over?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's two stools right there. You could take those.
Perfect. All right, are we done? We're talking about like house furniture and fans now.
Well, whatever's pertinent.
Yeah.
Okay, so did we have anything else we want to talk about? I don't know where we were.
We were talking about Fed money and politics, and that went into the post office.
Oh, yeah. Well, all I can say is they better have polling places set up, because I am not going to vote by mail. And you'll go to the poll with me.
I think you're out of your fucking mind. I think there's no way that we're going to see polling places.
Why? We get to go to the fucking grocery store 6 feet apart. You got a mask on. What's the big deal?
It's not going to happen. Because not everyone's touching the same bag of fucking Lucky Charms. I don't want to touch a screen.
I just put a glove on. What's the problem?
Well, now you got to hand out gloves to everybody.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think the cost of handing out a glove to everybody might be the same as the cost of mailing all this crap to you?
I don't want to do it. I think it's unsafe.
All right,
spreading COVID. And then you're taking a polling place at a school, and the kids are in school, and then now you've got double COVID.
The kids are not in school. That's the thing. Then they won't be. They won't be back in school. Oh, you did hear about the meteor that's going to hit Earth.
Oh, yeah, but they said, I read a whole thing about it because I was concerned, but they said that it's very small. And
I heard it was huge.
Oh, no, the thing I said,
Stop
the one
it.
that's going to hit November 2nd?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read a report that said it's very tiny. And
we may not be voting at all, but go ahead.
And that when it hits the Earth, that it's
going to burn up.
It's going to burn up. There's no way it's going to.
But the last one that came hit in Russia, and I guess it killed some people and shit. No?
Well, hopefully it's not coming to Redondo.
Russia, Redondo, what's the difference? Ramadan.
And we just want to wish everyone a happy Ramadan.
Well, it hasn't started yet.
Not yet. Sorry, Ramadan.
September 1st, right?
Is it? Did you just make that up?
Didn't we say the month of September?
Oh, I don't know.
Is it Ramadan month?
Should we call Ramadan right now?
Call him.
God, how pissed would he be? 12/24.
His wife would be even more pissed.
Hey, Rodman.
She'd be like, I don't care how much you like that My Mom Sandy podcast. Fuck them.
Rodman, are you awake? Buddy, we're doing the podcast. We're going to need you to
come on with us live.
Buddy, talk about Rodman Dawn. Okay, you're going to be on in 3, 2, 1, go. Rodman Dawn, go.
Do you think people can really hear you?
Oh, I've got sound waves. I've got.
Oh, okay.
I can hear. I'm hearing.
All right. So
I'm monitoring.
So when you move out, we're still going to do the podcast. Is that right? For Rodman? Don
Rodman. Famous basketball player.
Maybe that's what they'll name their firstborn son. Donald Rodman.
You can't name him Donald. Name him Don. Don Rodman.
Don Rodman.
Or
Rod Dodman.
Rod Donman. That's weird.
Rod Dodman.
You really like that one. You're really proud of that. Rod Donman.
Okay. All right.
Rod Donman.
Are we okay?
Rodman Don. Rodman Don. Don Rodman. Don Donnie Rodman.
Okay, stop.
Don Ron Rodman. Don Ron Rodman.
Ramen?
Don Ramen Rodman. Ramen Rodman. That's like Rockin' Robin. Ramen Rodman.
Okay, enough.
Tweet. Ramen Rodman. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, yes, we can keep doing the podcast unless Rodman just wants to come here and listen to us talk for
we could do that. We could just have
Monday night, Tuesday morning.
We'd have to get Brian in though. Cousin Brian.
Yeah. Cousin Brian's a fucking he's a real ball buster when we don't put an episode up for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
He is on that. He's quick on the text going, where's the fucking episode?
Really, where is it? Yeah, didn't he say he was taking the month of September off?
Cousin Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, he was taking it off for Rodman Don.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody should. Time to buy houses.
Really? There you go. All right. And by the way, just so you know, Rodman Don is a real estate agent, and that's what the holiday is all about.
He's buying houses from Don Rodman.
That's right. Or Rodman Don.
And his father, Amir Madon.
Amir Madon. Okay. All right, you got to listen to the last episode. If you didn't listen to the last episode, this is going to be meaningless to you.
If you haven't listened to episode 47, there's no reason why you should be at episode 48.
That's right. You got to do it in order. Otherwise, you would never know what guava is all about.
Or mangai.
Or mango.
Man guys.
Mango and guava.
A couple man guys and guavas.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. If you guys want to find us, you guys can get us on Instagram at My Mom Sandy Podcast. You guys can email us if you'd like to talk to us. mymomsandypodcast@gmail.com. And if you guys want to call us, my mom's cell phone number is 310.
No, don't
I'm
you
just
dare.
kidding. But we would like to do something special.
Stop by the house and check out my new car.
Yeah.
Just don't steal it.
Don't take it. We would like to do something special for episode 50. I know that it's weird times, and obviously since March, we've seen numbers on podcasts go down. I used to listen to podcasts religiously, and I don't think I've really even listened to a podcast probably since April.
Why was, it is, because were you listening to him in the car? Is that what it was? Oh, okay.
I was listening to him in the car.
That must be it.
I think I was also going more, I was doing things.
Yeah. Because I think your friend Peter said he was, he doesn't go into work anymore either, so he doesn't listen to him. But, like my friend Maxine, I think she upped her listening. Is
she listening to My Mom Sandy, though, or My Mental Mess?
Probably My Mental Mess.
Thanks, Maxine. But yeah, we'll keep doing them as long as people are listening. And we would like to do something special for episode 50. We'd love to maybe do like a call-in thing, or we could call you. We usually do the podcast late at night, so in 2 weeks, don't be surprised if we start shooting off some phone calls at midnight or 12:30 and seeing if you guys are awake. So,
there you go.
And if you think we don't have your number,
you're wrong.
We do. We have it.
Everybody who listens to us, we know.
We know. We know you.
We know who you are. We have special ways of finding out.
Talking to you, Cousin Brian and Rodman Don.
That's our 2 listeners.
That's it. That's all we got.
All right.
Okay. That's it. We will talk to you guys.
So everybody be safe out there. Wear your masks.
Yeah, wear your mask. It's hot.
And don't get sick, and don't get depressed. And if you are already depressed, I don't know.
Listen to the podcast.
And
if you get sick, don't go out of the house. Stay home.
That's right. Josh went and got tested again today.
I did today, this morning.
So we'll find out in a couple days if he's negative or positive.
And if it can transmit through the podcast.
I've heard that.
Through the waves.
Yeah. That's the WHO said that, came out with that statement last week. Don't listen to anybody on the radio or watch TV because it can be transferred.
Spread the COVID.
That's right.
All right, sign us off.
All right, very good.